Hello folks, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another One Piece review. This time we're covering manga chapter 1183. So in this chapter, Oda decides to go in another direction besides Loki and Emu and Sanji and Zoro saving the day, involving the Holy Knights and the Rain Goddess. So in this instance, now we got more content or more context involving Gunko and Brook, which I will never complain about. I think, to me, that's been one of the strongest parts of the Elbaph arc. I wasn't expecting it because one part of that backstory is frozen solid right now. I'm pretty sure one of the reasons why Oda decided to have Gunko on ice is to separate Gunko from Emu in order to tell this backstory in full. But no, Oda decided he's going to tease that here. More importantly, because it gives us more of an insight into Brook's backstory, more than what we've already gotten, which was already emotional to begin with. Now he's adding another layer on this, so I like that. I didn't expect it in this chapter because of Oda's statement back at Jump Festa, but hey, here we are. So we start off with the colour spread of this chapter with the straw hats, and it was teased going into this chapter, all 10 straw hats, because you got Pink Dumbo there spraying water, and you got the straw hats riding this water. Robin, the only one with common sense, actually having an umbrella on standby, while everybody else is looking pretty relaxed. Robin, the most relaxed out of the bunch. So you got Luffy with a tracksuit jumper on, which clearly has Nika written on as a meat emoji on it, so that's pretty cool. Then you got Robin, and I don't know what she's wearing on that t-shirt, what's written on that t-shirt, because she's kind of got it covered up with her arm, but she's definitely reading the book. But all I saw was LE, but I can't make out what the rest of it says. So if you guys know what it is, then let me know in the comments below if you can point that out. What was stated though, and what was clear as day, is make a splash. So it's Oda getting ready for the summer, because we're literally about to enter summer in about a week. So let's start off with this chapter with Emu versus Loki, and we get some more context. Ragnar Nishia, so that's the full name, hosted by Rataskir. So you've waited a long time for the one who could exact revenge upon Mu. Is that not so? So we know there's a connection between Elbaph and Emu. We just don't know in what context. But we just don't know what context Emu has with Elbaph before then. So is this a case where, like I said in the last chapter, was the Ragnar the weapon of Emu, a weapon of choice for Emu before landing on an Elbaph? We don't know. Like, there's some context missed in here, but there's some more information that Oda's sprinkling here. But of course, we don't get to see much of this. We don't get any more added to this because we got Loki kind of cut it in and said, enough with the chat. I've never seen a bastard like that tough before. Well, of course, because you're up against one of the final villains of the series, so no duh. Trying to go in for an attack, but then Emu responds, and look at the body language and the face of Emu. That does not look like somebody that's sweating Loki right now, just saying. Because he goes on to respond, Loki, Straw Hat Luffy, Nushia, that kind were never destined to serve Emu. Mu shall wipe thee from existence. So he's pretty confident he can wipe out Luffy, Loki, and Ragnar in the same battle. But if you look at the confidence, he's not frowning. He's smiling again. This motherfucker's got a smile on his face again while fighting Loki. So pay attention to that, because I know a lot of hardcore Loki fans, and trust me, I know why you're fans, but let's be real here. Oda's just spinning his wheels until we get Luffy into the fray, but he's got obviously other things that he would like to elaborate and focus on. Case in point, what we're getting in this chapter. So we get another confrontation. Loki spamming Ragnar Twinheim, which is another lightning-based attack, which, I mean, does nothing because Emu just blocks it, and that's where it cuts. To West Village, where we get the Rain God, or Rain Goddess, depending on how you look at it, with the kids. I like the fact that Ripley's kind of leading the charge to put some sort of resistance to try and rescue their children, but that's not going to go well, which is why you got Zoro and Sanji on standby. But Oda again is like spinning his wheels with this, because we got another plot element that Oda wants to elaborate on in this chapter. But other than that, we don't get much more information when it comes to this Rain God. Like I said before, if you look at the appearance, the face, at least from the facial standpoint, it does resemble what we got with Gunko during the God Valley incident. So, and we got a lot more information about Gunko in this chapter. So we do get to see a panel of Sanji as he's approaching. It's like, what the hell is that supposed to be? So you better be locked in, because they're going to take out the Rain Goddess first, and then they're going to go after the Holy Knights, which would make sense. Speaking of Holy Knights, we go to the Ice Cube of Hell, which Apparently, it would surprise me because I was actually thinking Emu was going to bust that open just to hype up Emu, but Oda's like, no, change of plans. So we don't get to see any change in the ice cube. The only thing I could assume is the attack is sort of melting or defrosting the ice, because other than that, we don't see any changes. Gunko's technically still alive because of what Frankie says later on. Gunko still has the long hair, but she's kind of reverted to a normal form. So following this, we actually get Usopp saying, hey, Brook, you and that woman, why'd you go fight her? Brook responds, I knew something was off, so I jumped in. Because obviously there's some unfinished business and there's obviously some context missing that we needed. That's the reason why. Nami responds, do you know her, Brook? Like an enemy you fought long ago? And Brook says, no, not an enemy. It's just someone I never thought I'd see again. Which is what he said when he was talking to Gunko in the first place. Like, I never thought I would see you again. This situation here, this confrontation, has left him confused because of the way the Gunko acted. And we know that she was the one that let the Straw Hats go in the first place. That was obvious. There's some back and forth between the Straw Hats here. But Brook goes on to say if it's really her, she should be 77 by now. Nami comes up with a logical response. So that's someone else, right? Like, she's a celestial dragon after all. I mean, look at Saint Summers. Like, he was seen in the God Valiant incident, and he's aged, so they don't have eternal youth. So back when she was the princess, so Brook goes on to say, back when she was the princess of my homeland, I never saw her again after she left for the Holy Land. So Brook kind of saying that she left, she betrayed her kingdom to leave for the Holy Land. So, but she's alluding to Gunko here, not the queen who we get to see in this chapter, who comes from the same kingdom as Brook. So this is where Frankie comes in and said, Brook, that woman, it's still frozen solid. Her condition is unknown, but if this keeps up, so we don't know. So kind of Frankie is it teasing like she may die or she may break free. Usopp goes on, so basically that celestial dragon is a spitting image of someone you know. That doesn't change the fact she came here to attack Elbaph. However, Brook, in this response, is the one that untied the Straw Hats to begin with. Initially, it was Gunko that technically freed the Straw Hats, including Brook, but although that has a lot to do with it. So there's a callback to that, which we knew anyway, like I said earlier. But then there's also sort of other teasers as well. During their confrontation, you got Gunko telling Brook, get away. So there's an inner struggle between Emo and Gunko. That also we knew. And Brook goes on to say, how could she possibly know who I am? But the thing is, they come from the same kingdom. Princess Shuri, I think, would have a grasp on Brook's hobbies. So if she saw the concert that was made public by the press and saw King Brook's picture, then obviously all she needed to do was put two and two together. Although Brook goes on to say, and she transformed into that demonic form again. And this is where a lot of people also want to link this to Robin's form, the mini Fleur. Her initial persona, the persona that saved us from that demonic form, it's almost as if there was 3 personas, not just 2, 3. So I kind of have a feeling what one of them is. But so I'll elaborate on that more because I think it's kind of like clarifying what's going on here without actually saying it, or the existence of Gunko, previously known as Princess Shuri. So when it comes to this backstory, Nami and Usopp seem to be the most locked in, for obvious reasons, but Nami more specifically. I don't know if anybody else picked up on that, because she's the one that says, does that mean she's being controlled? Like, notice how it's not somebody else saying this, it's Nami saying this. But Brook said back then we never considered that possibility, but seeing people turn into demons today, you have to like wonder about this option that Nami's bringing up. Like, oh, she deserted her kingdom. Like, no, there's a reason for it. So, and this is going to give us more context, but there's more to come. But Jinbei's the one that says, this ain't good. Brook, you need to decide now, do we keep her alive or do we take her out? Because if you don't decide, we can't act. So I like how he's also weighing the options, but it's Brook that needs to make the decision here. Bro, she's not dying, so we know where this is going. Defrosting or Gunko breaking out, because unless Oda was just spinning his wheels thinking, oh, what could I do? Like, he's not going to have Emu launch an Omen attack if nothing's going to come of it. So there has to be some consequence to this. But Brook has no choice but to divulge into his backstory even further than what we've already gotten. So the kingdom of Esperia, we get revealed from 70 years ago. The kingdom of Esperia is a musically vibrant kingdom packed with instrument craftsmen. And Brook's the first one to be shown because he's singing, and he's singing the title of this chapter, Good Morning Mermaid, which, if you look at the lyrics of because it goes on to say, someday I want to meet a sexy mermaid. So if you look at that context, he's kind of already fulfilled that dream. And I'm surprised he didn't sing that when he met Shirahoshi. So, although to be fair, there's a good chance we're gonna get a reunion anyway. Residents of Esperia, kind of like some of them drunks. Oh, keep it down. This again. You got somebody saying like, "Bring me a gun." I thought that was hilarious. Like, you got Gunka waking up, and she's got like the hee morning Brook. So it's similar to Soul's laugh, like that laugh. So that's oh boy, that's going to come into effect in the upcoming episode. So I mean, that's going to be an emotional roller coaster. So I wonder if Oda's doing this deliberately. But yeah, it's very similar. We go to another area in Esperia, the Esperia Palace, military quarters. Esperia military, and Brook's the captain of it. So that's pretty cool. So you also got some other fans like saying, "Come on, teach us your slice style too." So they want to learn Brook's techniques as well. So I like Brook's response here. "Quit whining. You want me to teach you? Learn the basics first, dreamers." So you want to get with the program? Learn from the best, bitch. So he's got the risk factor on lock. I'm just saying, like, Brook going around singing, not giving a fuck what anybody else says. Carrying bid sake for you, so which is funny because if you look at the lyrics, that's one of the songs Brook comes prevalent with, or sings himself. Everything he's saying, he's basically singing, and you got little Shuri there. Brook's age 20 at this point, and obviously Princess Shuri is age 7. But I like if you look at the background of where they're walking, they've got like hedges and it's shaped like a music note, so I thought that was kind of cool. I like how we're getting more insight into not just like this thing I was talking about earlier. We're not just getting insight into Princess Shuri or Brook's kingdom here. We're getting more world building here. Like Brook came from it, and we're here. Brook is the captain of the Esperia Royal Escort Corps at age 20. So, but he's already got a thing for Shuri's mother. I mean, he's not even hiding it. So he's like, "Your mum's super strong, you know, Lady Candelle, the light of my life." So you already know he's got eyes for Shuri's mother. And I love Shuri's response, like, "Falling for someone's wife is dangerous, Brook." And Brook doesn't give a fuck because the king or the king of Esperia is right there listening. He's got hedge clippers in his hand. But when you look at the context of the mother of Princess Shuri, you can clearly see Oda's adopting a trope, a overdone trope in anime, and he's applying that to this scene or this scenario in the Esperia Kingdom backstory. I know a lot more people are going to notice than me, or care than me, but that's just something that Oda's adopted because it's a done to death trope in anime, almost overdone at this point. But yeah, Oda's adopted this here, so the death penalty sounds dangerous enough. But Brook is like, oh shit, you heard that? And Shuri's like pretty much confirming that's her father by Papa. And he's the king of Esperia, King Lewin. Princess Shuri's like, "Just forget about my mum, Brook. In return, when I grow up, I'll marry you instead." And oh my god, the response of both is like hilarious. You got King Lewin looking like Charlos, which is pretty disturbing in itself because she goes on to say that's the kind of cute thing daughters say to their dads. I'm like, what? Are you just blurting that? I hope that's a mistranslation because if not, that's super creepy as hell. And then Brook's response is, "No, no thanks. I don't want a wife that's a total wet blanket." Like, bro. And then King Lewin actually kicks the fucking shit out of Brook. He kicks his face in, and to be honest, that's kind of justified. Like, how dare you dump on my daughter in front of me? Like, so I'm devoted. Brook, as being kicked, is like, "I'm devoted to one woman only." So, and Shuri's just laughing her ass off. If somebody gets King Rowan's attention, like, "Your Majesty, apologise for your fun." A gang cavalry unit is moving from the port towards the town, and they're trying to kidnap or kill. The Moran gang is trying to target and kill Queen Candelle, who's singing at a concert, who's an opera singer at the concert, so that makes sense. So she's an opera singer by day, and she's queen by night. So send word to Candelle not to leave the opera house. So Brook is the only one not concerned by this. So Gunka's like, "Brook, do something." Not even, it's like, doesn't even ask her father to do something about this. Like, the king of all people. Princess Shuri's like, "Brook, do something. They're going to take mum away." Brook's like, "No, they're not." We got shadows of Candelle and how she's singing in the opera house. So that's pretty cool. So you got the Murren gang parked outside the opera house waiting. But Brook, again, the only one not concerned, it'll be fine. Your Highness is incredibly strong. She won't be captured so easily by scrubs. More importantly, they haven't even noticed. By the way, I just went ahead and sliced them, so they haven't even noticed. So Brook already cut them this morning. Brook gets some shine here. Like I said, he's got the rest factor up to 10 in this chapter. Like, Jesus Christ. So this guy completely got torn apart by Brook's quick draw slash, and this is where it leads to the introduction, the full introduction of Queen Candelle, the Queen of the Kingdom of Esperia, which I'm going to say right now, I can't blame Brook at all for the way he feels. Just saying. We also get to find out that she was the former captain of the escort corps, which is cool. So I wonder who put Brook in that position. Just saying, because it kind of looks like there's going to be a romantic connection between the two, more so than the king and the queen. And considering Oda's using a trope here, just saying, because of Brook's humming blade attack, he earned the title of Swift Slash in a kingdom of Esperia. So that's pretty cool. We get the full introduction of Queen Candelle, the Queen of Esperia, to end the chapter. And considering the fact we had multiple queens introduced already and multiple women in Elbaph introduced already, this is shaping up to be a banger arc for the women. Just saying. On top of the women we already love in One Piece. So going back to what Brook said early on, where it looks like Princess Shuri or Gunko has 3 personas or 3 personalities within one. I'm going to make an early prediction here because I'm not going to drag this out. We're going to get context to this, obviously. But I'm going to go on a limb here and said a lot of this has to do with Queen Candelle just because of the appearance. Like, with what Brook said, she should be 70 years old. We see her and we see Princess Shuri in this backstory. But if she was kidnapped then, like Nami elaborated, like, oh, she may have been captured. I'm going to go on a limb that says a lot of this has to do with Queen Candelle. And if you mix up the 2 personalities between Shuri, which we see in this chapter is more enjoyable and outgoing. I mean, we saw this even before we knew there's a connection between Brook and Gunko. I mean, just look at the way she was acting, like the way she was acting when she was eating food, like her face lighting up, like her putting on headphones, listening to music. That's not something you would see apostles of Ibu acting. So they have their own personalities, they have their own backstory. So with Gunko, it becomes a lot more relatable here. So, and this is only going to lead to Brook looking to save Princess Shuri, aka Gunko. So there's not going to be any other outcome here. Like I said, I was kind of surprised Oda did this in this format because clearly we need to get the second part of this backstory from Gunko's perspective, because Brook was going into this thinking that she deserted the kingdom, but it's like, no, after what's gone on, clearly something else was at work. Maybe Imu captured Princess Shuri or Queen Candelle, and Queen Candelle is the host body, but Gunko is the one that took over. Maybe. And with Imu's influence. So that could be where the 3 personas come in. I don't think we're going to have long to wait considering the direction Oda's going in. Like, if he frees Gunko from there, we know where this is going. Like, it's just whether or not we're going to get the rest of this backstory from Gunko's perspective before the end of Elbaph. That's the only question. But other than that, I thought it was not only was it the best part of the chapter, I would go on a limb and say this is the best part of the entire year. Because not only are we getting more backstory into Brook, like we didn't know before, like being like the captain of the escort corps serving the Kingdom of Esperia, which a chapter or 2 ago we didn't even know existed in the world of One Piece. Now here we are talking about Brook's homeland. Oh, there's a royalty aspect to his character that we didn't know before. And there's a love interest apparently. So we didn't know that either. So I'm not going to harp on this, but I can see why. And it just goes to show you, because like I said this earlier, but look at how locked in Usopp and more importantly Nami were. I think they're going to play a crucial role in the decision, even though they'll leave it up to Brook and they're going to follow along, because of course they are. I mean, look at what went on with Sanji and the way he was treated by some of his siblings, not named Reiji because she was the only one that's trying to be a sibling to Sanji. But everybody else was a douche to Sanji. Look at the response Sanji gave to Luffy. Like, I don't want them to die. I want to save them. That's after everything. You don't think Brook's going to have the same conviction here after what's going on here? He's confused, and when you're confused, you want to get as much of the information as you can before you make your decision. So I'm just saying. But we're getting more of the backstory. I don't know how many chapters it's going to be, considering what Oda said at Jump Festa. That's why it's literally caught me by surprise, because I thought he was going to wait until after Elbaph, but apparently not. Which I have no problem with, because the more we learn, the less time Oda has to waste, and we can get this now. But like I said, Oda's going to do this in 2 parts because there's 2 different perspectives. Speaking of Nami, I can see Nami being the sympathetic one, especially if Princess Shuri was kidnapped at the age of 7. You know what Nami's going to be all about. Yeah, we're going to rescue her. So she's going to be on the side of Brook, if that's what Brook decides. I mean, let's be real. What other decision is Brook going to make here? Usopp's going to be kind of like maybe the conflict of interest because of what's going on Elbaph, but it's like, bro, you were set free because of Gunko. You got a lot to ponder on, and this could be another character moment for Usopp. Physical-wise, they're not going to be able to do much, so I wonder if that's where Luffy's going to come in. Or maybe Nami steps up. That'd be kind of cool. And the thing about it is, before, we didn't even know there was a connection between Brook and Gunko. That's why a lot of people wanted to connect the dots initially with Gunko and Nami, just because of the age. Because there's so much more to the Straw Hats we don't know. We don't know the full story of Robin yet. Like, there's a lot of, like, speculation about Robin's family, like where did Liquid Olivier look, her lineage. Are we ever going to get the explanation to that? Does it have a connection with Emu? We don't know. Look at Luffy. We got nothing outside of Dragon. We don't nothing about Luffy and his upbringing outside of his interactions with Ace, Sabo, and Garb, and Dardan. We don't really know. Nami's another one. We don't know where she got washed up from when Bellemere picked her up. So there's a lot of question marks when it comes to the Straw Hats. Usopp as well. Like, we don't know why Yasop dipped and doesn't want to see anything from his son. There's a lot more we need to, as far as like the context of the Straw Hats. Brook is another one. We're getting this now. So regardless of if it was unexpected or not, I love this chapter. I love this backstory already. Those are my thoughts. Please tell me yours in the comments below. You guys know the drill. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. I appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel for more One Piece. I'll catch you guys later. Take it easy, guys. Bye.